Welcome to Free Your Mind Reviews. This is Chris Johnson with a review of El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. I love Breaking Bad. I'll be honest with you. I am definitely in the camp of people who think it's not just one of the greatest shows of all time. I honestly think it's the greatest show of all time. Um, and caught on to it pretty late too. It got me onto Netflix because we were doing Netflix we were just doing trial runs during Netflix. There wasn't really anything at the time that made me think that I would really keep it until I realized Breaking Bad was there and everyone kept talking it up how great it was. I finally watched a couple episodes. Was really into it, and then life took over. I had stuff to do, make my own films and all that stuff. So I really didn't keep to it until summer 2012. Summer 2012, I went absolutely insane and watched every season that they had on the platform, and I just found it to be absolutely incredible. I would be trying to plan these movies and trying to plan my future, and then would literally just stop in my tracks and watch the crazy adventures and writing and storytelling of Walter White and Jesse, and the myth and legend that would build for the image of Heisenberg, and it was just such a beautiful, and it reminded me of The Godfather in a way where even I'm taking a man from point A, one of the greatest examples of taking a character from point A to point B, where the Michael Corleone that you saw at the end of Godfather Part 2 was nowhere near like the Michael Corleone that you saw in the beginning of The Godfather, and Walter White's evolution or de-evolution from the cancer-ridden chemistry teacher in need of money to the egotistical, violent meth kingpin that he becomes. It's just one of the greatest, most fascinating character arcs that I've ever seen. But it wasn't just Walter's character arc. It wasn't just the writing of Walter. It was the writing of Jesse Pinkman, and to see him evolve. You know, the arrogant, loudmouth, yeah, bitch, mother, meth dealer, and just to see what the darkness of the series and what the events of the series would turn him into. Killing Gail, what happened to Jane, his relationship with Andrea and Brock, and to see where he ended up at the end of the show. It broke your heart, and it's like it didn't matter to you if what Jesse was doing was actually wrong. It didn't matter because of the complexity of the character and the greatness of the writing and the fantastic performance of Aaron Paul. And it was just, even though he was a criminal, even though he was a drug dealer, he was a young kingpin, but in the end, you wanted him to get out of there. You wanted him to be free. So, Breaking Bad, to me, beginning, middle, and end, is the perfect TV show. So it was a shock when they announced, really a pleasant shock, but you can't help being scared of anything following greatness. But it was a shock to hear that they were doing this movie about Jesse, because Jesse's ending was a little bit more ambiguous than Walt's. Walt's was smacked out up in your face, and Jesse's final shot is so amazing in the series finale that you can't help being scared a little bit if they would mess up or ruin that great the finality of Jesse. I'm here to tell you, thinking that was very stupid. Because Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad, co-creator of Better Call Saul, writer and director of this film, to me, he's just another Chris Nolan. Like, what in Nolan we trust. That's what we kept saying for 7 years when the Dark Knight trilogy was out. In Nolan we trust. Why in the world would I doubt Vince Gilligan? I shouldn't. Because not only is Breaking Bad amazing, Better Call Saul rocks too. So he's already shown he could do another great story and do more great storytelling with Breaking Bad characters. You know, the brilliance of Breaking Bad, and you have these fantastic leads, but every character is memorable. Every character has a part to play. Every character has something beautiful to offer. And Better Call Saul it was a big proof of that, and El Camino is no different. El Camino can be haunting at times, as it follows right after Jesse's last shot at the end of Breaking Bad. Right after. And we see the journey. This is just mainly about getting the ambiguity out of the way. What happens to Jesse? Because I heard a lot of people had the theory of he probably got caught by the cops who were coming right there to see Walter's dead body at the meth lab. Did he or did he not? Could I have lived with not getting the answer to that question? Yeah, I could have lived with it. Breaking Bad, greatest series of all time, one of the greatest series finales of all time. But El Camino's presence to me is just so lovely and so intense and so methodical and so intelligent, just like Breaking Bad was. You know, a lot of people love the crazy stuff, you know, the badass moments. You know, Gus's death, say my name. You know, this is not meth. You know, the machine gun in the trunk. You know, the craziness of Ozymandias. But, and of course I love that stuff too, but for me, it was the character work that I adored. Like I mentioned earlier, the character journeys of seeing where Walt started compared to where Walt's story ended. Seeing how Jesse was at the beginning compared to who he was at the end. The relationships between Walt and his family, with Skyler, with Walt Jr., with Hank, you know, with Hank's wife. To look at a character as complex as Gus, who you would say, oh, he's one of the greatest villains of all time. But then you start thinking about season 4, you watch season 4 again, and it's like, who's really the villain in this season? Is it Gus? Is it Walt? Or is it everybody? I love that. Absolutely love that. And then seeing someone as scary as Todd. Who's scary because he's not outwardly like, oh, I'm killing people. He goes about it like we go about ordering pizzas. It's just a normal thing to him. It's like, whatever, you know. Yeah, I killed this person. You know, it is what it is. And that's terrifying. And El Camino, in only 2 hours, reminds you of all of that. There were such brilliantly written and brilliantly acted scenes, but from not only just the great Aaron Paul, who has not lost it one bit as Jesse. The rumored flashbacks are true. They flash back here and there to moments that we didn't see in the original show that takes place within episodes that you know you recognize. But you didn't see these moments. And they didn't skip a beat. You see all the different versions of Jesse that were from the show. Early season 2, loving Jane, full of life Jesse. Wanting to get out, wanting to quit early season 5 Jesse. Held captive, tortured, quiet, and weak, and broken Jesse from later on in season 5. And then this new Jesse who's just trying to finally get what everyone else says he doesn't deserve, but in the end, he's got to decide, do I deserve this or not for myself? Do I think I deserve peace? Or maybe I do deserve to go out like Heisenberg did. The only difference is Walt went out on his own terms, didn't he, right? He may have died, but he went out on his own terms. Can Jesse get what he wants on his own terms? That's what El Camino is for me. And it was such a pleasure to see all these different characters from Breaking Bad and seeing how they still resonate after all of these years, man. Like, there's a certain character that returns in the film who's a little different looking compared to how he is in the show because he looks different in real life. And I know a lot of people were talking about that, but let's be honest, if you can accept 12 years older and fatter Anthony Hopkins doing a prequel to Silence of the Lambs and Red Dragon, you can accept a character being a little fatter compared to how he was at that point in the show. Because the material is too damn good. Too damn immoral. Too damn complex. Just too damn heartbreaking for Jesse. For you to cut it out because the actor got a little bigger. And you can't cut it out because it's a great juxtaposition to where he was at the back end of season 5 compared to what he needs to do now afterwards to get out, to try to be free. And Vince Gilligan, I just came off seeing Jesse and Gemini, man, 2 days before this. I saw El Camino at Alamo Drafthouse. I didn't even watch it on Netflix for the first time. I've seen it since on Netflix, but I watched it in the theater. And to see a movie that's following a TV show, right? Made specifically really for you to watch on your TV. Yeah, it looked more cinematic to me and more dynamic in its direction and its cinematography than both of those pieces of crap. Vince Gilligan, genius writer, really great director. He was born to shoot in the 2x40 scope widescreen. First time doing it, because Breaking Bad, just like every other TV show, is in the 175, 185 range. And he nailed the 2x40. His beautiful framing, the westerny aspect of Breaking Bad that Breaking Bad always had, mind you, especially with its Albuquerque, New Mexico setting, to me, really shines through in this film. It was just, for me, it was a glorious film to look at. It was a glorious film to feel, to watch. Such a love letter and beautiful epilogue to the series. Absolutely beautiful epilogue to the series. Mind you, a series that already had a great series finale in Felino. Well, now you have another one. You had one for Walt, the main series finale, and you can look at this as one for Jesse. Because Jesse was so important to Breaking Bad. When you think of Breaking Bad, you don't just think Heisenberg. You think of Walt, and you think of Jesse, and you think of them together. When I think of Breaking Bad, that's what I see. That's the image I always see. Walt and Jesse. And it's funny because as a Game of Thrones fan as well, and I don't care how many Emmys it won this past season, that season was not up to par. The ending was not up to par. The writing wasn't up to par. It was rushed. It was choppy. They didn't make you believe in any of the ideas that they ended up doing. And disappointed on some of the ideas that they set up. So to see Game of Thrones end so unsatisfactorily for me, and then to watch El Camino have a big smile on my face after it was over, and realize that technically Breaking Bad has 2 great series finales. It doesn't just have one great series finale. It has 2 now. Some shows can't end their series worth a damn, and Breaking Bad does 2 great series finale. One in a normal series finale form, and one as a epilogue film. Bravo. Absolutely bravo. Can't wait for more Better Call Saul. If Vince ever comes up with another idea for a film about any of the other characters, I completely welcome it. Honestly, I just welcome whatever he does at this point. The man is a genius. He's a master. So is Aaron Paul. Please, people, this man is a fantastic actor. He should be getting more opportunities in film and television. I can't wait to see him in Westworld. That's another one of my shows. Can't wait to see him in that. Aaron Paul is fantastic. He has always been fantastic as Jesse, and this movie changes nothing about that. He's amazing. He's incredible. So is this whole cast. Definitely, if you love Breaking Bad, you better check El Camino out. But you know what? If you just love damn good storytelling with damn good characters, check El Camino out.